Hello, dear students. I'd like today to present you the first function of management, planning. Okay, I will share my screen. Just a moment. Okay, so as you know, the four main functions of management are planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling. In some sources you can find more functions, but the mentioned ones are the main functions of management, and generally it is quite easy to understand this order. First of all, you have to set some objectives to create some plan, and this plan we call as strategy. This is a result of a planning function. Then you have to divide tasks among your subordinates, and usually this activity must be done through a great structure of organization. So this is organizing function. Then you have to set the incentive for everybody. This is motivating function, and then you have to check the results. This is controlling function, and it's rather obvious that a manager is the person who implements the mentioned functions. Generally, as I told you, today we will speak about strategic planning or strategic management, and generally we will speak about what are objectives of an organization, how shall we call the main objective of organization, the purpose of its existence, and generally we will discuss the general chain of strategic management. And what is very important, that strategic planning and or strategic management provides the basics for all managerial decisions. So, if to define what is strategic planning, we can define it as a set of actions which must be implemented or which must be done to help the organization to achieve its objectives. Within strategic planning, there are four main types of activities. These activities are resource allocation, environmental adaptation, internal coordination, and organizational strategic awareness. Let's discuss it briefly. First of all, the first type of activity is resource allocation, and one step back, I'd like to say that it cannot be mentioned that it is like an order of some activities. No, these activities must be implemented, must be used in one time. So, resource allocation. It means that a manager must understand the resources available for his or her organization, and the manager must divide these resources among all strategical business units of the organization and among all the functional spheres of organization. Environmental adaptation. It means that during strategic planning, the management of the organization must adopt it to changes in external environment, and this picture shows it, I think, in the best way. And generally, if speaking about some economic example, when Coca-Cola saw that people wanted to be more healthy and wanted to drink caffeine-free soft drinks, so they had to provide a new type of Coca-Cola without caffeine. Then we have to understand our internal strengths and weaknesses in order to compete with other companies. And also we have to connect our basic strengths with our potential possibilities in external environment. Generally, as I told you, the result of planning function is general plan, and in strategic management and generally in management, we call these plan as strategy. The answer to the question, what is strategy? You can say that it is a plan for an organization. But to provide a little bit more formal definition, you could say that strategy is not just a plan, but a detailed, comprehensive, and integrated plan designed to assure that the mission and objectives of the organization are met. And from this definition, you can see a new word, mission, and we will discuss it a little bit later. But if very briefly, a mission is is the main objective of the organization, the purpose of its existence. And here at this screen you can see the general pyramid or the general chain of the organization. At the top you can see values. Generally, why it is so important to understand it? Because in contemporary world, all companies use concept of corporate social responsibility, and these principles based on ethics, and it means that whatever we want to do, we have to face not only needs of our customers, but also we have to meet the needs of society in general. Then we have to create the general idea of our business. It is vision. Then we have to create a mission. A mission means like more direct description of our need, of the needs to be satisfied by our organization, and to support it, we have to, or we can divide these like main objective into separate objectives. So some small results, and then we have to support every result with some actions to be done to attain every result. Generally, it's not possible in contemporary world to run business without a plan. That's why the strategy is an essential part of management to be prepared for supporting the competitiveness of the company. And strategy must set our organization apart from our rivals. So it must stress our identity, our personality. It means that if you say that, if you think that it is possible to produce a product without understanding who is our final customers, it's not true. Generally, in modern world, you have to understand the profile of our customer. And what is more important, you have to create your profile in the mind of your customers. So your future customers must feel your identity and identity of your products or services. And also, I'd like to stress that strategy must be flexible enough. It means that it is not possible just to prepare some document, to print it, to put it on your table, or I don't know, to prepare some presentation, and that's all. No, the strategy must evolve every time, and also it must support your organization and help it to overcome all problems in external environment. For example, nobody knew a month and a half ago that nowadays we would face this awful situation connected with Russia. Today I'd like to present you the general idea of strategic management, because according to modern literature, it is the only way to prepare your organization for future problems and to use the opportunities of external environment in the best way. Let's begin with mission. What is mission? Mission is the main objective of the organization. It is the main purpose of the organization. Another definition is that it is the description of the need to be satisfied by our organization in the best way, and this is the source of our profitability. So generally, mission must contain the following parts. It must have the description of business, of our business, and what is quite important, that it is a very big gap between description of a need and description of the product. And first of all, when you are creating a strategy and when you're crafting a need, a mission, you have to begin with understanding the need, and only then you have to prepare the description of a product or of a service. For example, when a lady goes to a beauty salon, she goes there not only to make her hair shorter. No, she is going there to be more beautiful. So this is the gap. The formal description of the service is to make some hairs shorter, and the description of a need to be more beautiful as she is. Okay, another example. When a farmer buys a tractor, he or she buys not just something with 4 wheels, but farmer buys the possibility to work in more effective and efficient way. It is the description of the first point, and also it must contain the description of external environment, so it must be description of technology to be used, it must be description of our customers, and also it must be provided a description of the organizational culture, because as you might remember from this screen, we are beginning with our values, ethics, and principles. And, without a mission as a guide, it's not possible to create a strategy, because it's not possible to build a house without a basis. And what is very important, that with the help of mission, it is possible to provide management on middle level and on the lowest level. Using mission, it is possible to make an independent decision. Why? I'd like to set an example. Okay, if we are creating a mission for a cafe in some university, it means that we have to provide our students with rather cheap dishes, and we have to serve them only within breaks. And it's not possible, and knowing this, the manager of every cafe situated in the university, he or she can understand that it's not possible to provide some special dish to be served, to be prepared, to be cooked within 20 minutes or half an hour. It is completely normal for a restaurant with delicious food in the center of the city, but it's not possible to use it to serve this dish at the university cafe. So knowing general idea of our business, it is possible to to make an independent decision. What does it mean independent? It means that this manager, knowing this general mission, to serve students within breaks and to provide some cheap food. Okay, maybe not cheap, but not expensive food. It is possible not to ask for the piece of advice. Okay, should we include these very dish to our menu? So if it suits to the mission, okay, let it be. And I'd like to stress that according to Peter Drucker, one of the guru of the modern management, there is only one valid definition of a business: to create a customer. What does it mean? I'm stressing one more time that it's not possible to provide some services or some goods without understanding who is our customer. Nowadays, we don't have any special, how to say, any product which can satisfy any need. Even if speaking about, I don't know, even if speaking about bread, there are a lot of kinds of bread, a lot of types of bread. And nowadays you can buy many types of bread. So even bread became a product which must be differentiated according to the customer who will buy it. I'd like to discuss briefly one mistake. To say that the main objective of organization is a profit. This definition of a mission doesn't provide us with the description of a need. So it doesn't work like this. Okay, I want to be profitable. What I have to do? No. It's completely wrong. You have to understand what is the need to be satisfied by your company. Then you have to understand your competitive advantage. So it means that you have to understand what will be done better compared with your rivals. And if you succeed to do it in a better way, it means that your products or your services will be better. In formal words, it means that your company will have competitive advantage over rivals, and your products will be sold to customers. And you will be profitable, not your customers. So this is the general chain of strategic management. It means that profitability, or to be profitable, or profit generally, is one of the essential objectives of the organization, but not a mission of the organization. And generally, profitability is only internal to the enterprise, and generally it connects the organization maybe only with its owners, and that's all. So if I'm an owner of this company, so I'm interested in the profitability of my company. But if I'm customer, I'm thinking only about how to satisfy my need in the best way. So mission must provide the answer to this question. And here is one of the best mission I managed to find in the internet. So mission for Ford company was providing the public with low-cost transportation. So as you can see from this mission, you can find anything about car. And formulated the mission, you have to, okay, let's come back to this. Sorry, let's come back to this picture. Having formulated the mission, having described the general need to be satisfied by your company, you have to divide these big objectives into set of small objectives. And here I decided to use this picture, because to attain an objective, you have to perform some pieces of activity, and these pieces of activity, we call it like tasks. So how to define an objective? An objective is a specific state or some result of a group of people to attain by working together. So I'd like to stress one more time two ways of setting the objective. It could be a state, or it could be a result. Okay, to open a new store is a state. To increase profitability in by 9% by the end of the year is a desired result. But when you are setting these results, you have to use the following characteristics. Any result must be specific. It means that everybody in your organization must understand what do you want from him or from her, because any subordinates, if it is possible to understand it in the better way for him or for her, he or she will do like this. And you as a manager, you have to provide all your subordinates with transparent description of the result to be attained. For example, maybe there are different ways to attain the result, and maybe you you had in mind only one from these possible ways, and if so, you have to mention it. Then, any result must be measurable. Any result must contain some figures. For example, if you set an objective only in the way like, okay, we want to increase our profit. That's all. You know, from this definition, it's not possible to get any information about the range of these increasing, of this improvement. For example, last year your profit was about 10,000 hryvnias, and this year it is 10,000 and 1 hryvnia. And your manager, for example, who is, okay, it's, for example, some division of your company, some small shop, and he or she can say, okay, but it is bigger. Yes, by 1 hryvnia, but it is bigger. And if you forgot to mention some figures, it's not possible for you to say, okay, but I thought that it must be at least by 5%. No, you have to mention it. Any result must be time-oriented. It means that if you say, okay, I want to increase the profitability of the company by 10%, your managers can say, okay, but I thought that this result must be attained within 5 years, not 1 year, and maybe in your mind it was not even a year, but half of a year, for example. So any objective must have deadline. And last but not least, any objective must be attainable or achievable. You know, if your subordinates feel that it's not even theoretically possible to attain this objective, what do? Yes, correct, they do nothing. So you must be sure that theoretically it is possible to attain this result. And all objectives must be mutually supportive and related to the strategy. So it shouldn't be any conflict between at least two objectives. And if to summarize everything mentioned about the characteristics of objective, it can be prepared the following picture, and this very well-known picture and rule how to create objective. It is SMART rule according to the first letters of these words. So any objective must be as specific. So everything in your organization must understand what you want from them. Everybody must understand some figures inbuilt into the objective. So any objective must be measurable. Everybody must feel that it is possible to achieve this result. So any objective must be achievable. Any objective must be connected with a general strategy. So it must be relevant, or in another transcription it can be told as related. And any objective must have deadlines, so any objective must be time bound. And it's very easy to remember this rule. So if you want to set an objective, you have to use SMART rule. After establishing mission and objective, management must begin the strategic analysis of external environment after implementing the strategy. First of all, management have to understand future changes in external environment, then basing on these changes, possible changes in future, the management have to understand possible good things for organization and possible problems for the organization. So it must be defined possible opportunities and threats, and to connect opportunities and threats with internal environment of the organization. It must be provided the environmental analysis of the company, and during this analysis, the following question must be answered. Where is our organization now? Where does top management want the firm to be in the future? And what management must do to support this way for our organization? And the result of the analysis of the external and internal environment, there are a lot of instruments, but the best instrument to perform this analysis is SWOT analysis. Is the type of analysis to connect positive and negative points or characteristics within a company and positive and negative characteristics out of the company. Okay, thank you for your attention.